Snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. 'Tis the season for love and understanding. Merry Christmas. Fuck the Huns.
Since I have been born, the entity that passed away in 2012 and ceased to be Rangers Football Club claimed to be the most successful football club in the world. They've since passed away, and since their resurrection, they've matched St Johnstone. Congratulations, St Johnstone. What a fantastic achievement. But even with all the old trophies and the fucking tribute act put together, no longer are they even the most successful club in Glasgow. Get it right. Fucking up every single one of yous. If you come here because at times you can be level-headed, this isn't the podcast for you. Morg, roll the intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Beer Podcast, episode 14 of Season 4. What a powerful opening that was. My name is Fennan, and joined alongside me, as you can already hear, a man who's certainly feeling 2-3 times better than I am right now, but he's feeling 119 times better than any fucking Rangers fan right now. Mayhem, congratulations on Celtic becoming the most successful club in Scotland. How's that feel, man? How's it feel?
It just feels... It feels lovely.
Lost for words.
Do you know how it really feels? It feels incredibly fleeting, because who really gives a fuck, right, about all this carry-on pish? But it's funny for the next week, because they fucking cared. Right? They had fucking trophies plastered up on their walls. I hope they got the painter and decorators on fucking speed dial right next to the face painter that they didn't fucking pay, right? Because maybe they can call the face painter up. Maybe they can come around and fucking decorate that wall and then turn it into some kind of canvas. Fucking trophies plastered up, 55 this and carry on pitch. No more.
It's over.
Come the end of the season, we're level on league titles with more trebles than you, with now more major honours than you. Ali McQuist, fucking Paul Gascoigne, Graham Souness, Dave King. You've let your boys...
For those who are watching on YouTube right now, just to let you know, that is his first Stella. Okay, just like he was just waving in the camera.
Let's have a time drinking a Stella. I can thoroughly confirm tastes like beer.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said. I was about to say and the last, but then, yeah. Few and far between in terms of the taste of beer.
Maybe not the last.
Well, look at that. He's fucking flying through them. Honestly, sinking them, inhaling them.
It's celebration juice, you know? Fuck it, it's Christmas as well.
It's good for you. It's Christmas and...
it's Christmas.
Mate, it's the festive period. Well, let's talk about the game. Now, I only managed to catch late second half because I was doing good fiancé things with Maria. And so I tuned in as soon as Maeda struck to make it 2-1. Now, it was obviously from the neutral perspective, very entertaining. 6-goal thriller, went to penalties, and the big Dane stepped up to keep out. I believe it was Yilmaz who had his penalty saved. But yeah, I know. But my goodness, a game full of ups and downs, lefts and rights. It just felt like as soon as momentum struck one side, the other side went up the other end and equalised or went in front. It was just fucking, you know what? No pun intended. It was mayhem.
It was. I guess I've heard a lot of people say for the neutral, it would have been a great game. Would have been a great advert for Scottish football. For me personally, it was horrific. I've told you before, I don't enjoy these games whatsoever.
No,
whether it's whether it's back when they were wearing loaves of bread on their head because Mark Warburton was manager and they were getting scodded 4-5 nothings, or whether it's this iteration of them. I just hate them, fucking hate them. The overwhelming sensation in these games is just relief, and then you go back and you watch the game, and maybe some of your opinions, that you had while the game was on, they're not relevant because you're watching it with so much emotion. But Celtic were poor in the first half. I don't think anybody can deny that, barring a ball over the top for Nicholas Kuhn and he gets past Hefty, whatever the fuck his name is. He beats Proper. He's in the box and he just takes a bit of a heavy touch and Jack Butland gets his hand on it. Hatate follows up and it's blocked. And then a wee ball over the top to Kyogo that kind of hits it in the volley easy enough for Butland to save. Apart from that, not a whole lot from us. We had a lot of possession, but wasn't doing anything. Rangers were sitting back in their own half and they were waiting for us to play that first ball into midfield and they were springing on us and pressing us. And look, it worked really, really well. We were sloppy in possession. Hatate was poor. McGregor was snuffed out of the game. I mean, it took God knows how many fucking years, but they got this pivot right and had to close down a 6. I mean, tactical revolutionary. And yeah, we weren't doing anything with it. And we were slap passes. Austin Trusty does a bit of a dodgy one to Cameron Carter-Vickers in the box, and Cameron does well to deal with it and get it away. But there was just slap passes all over the place. Apart from Nicholas Kuhn, he was really the only one getting any success. Days Maeda, Tavernier was coming really tight and keeping him rather quiet. And you could kind of sense something was coming. That Rangers set up well. And Greg Taylor at the end of the first half plays a really slack ball. Mm-hmm. It gets intercepted. They're bearing down. The striker, Angus Bigamani, shifts it, hits a shot. Casper gets down to it well, but can't hold on to it. And Barami just runs in and taps in. And at 1-0, and Casper didn't have to do a whole lot, but in that first half either. But I don't think anyone can really say that on the balance of play and how they'd set up that they probably didn't deserve to be in front going into half time. And everything felt a bit flat, which has been it's just become a wee bit too, over the last few weeks, all a wee bit too familiar, this kind of flat performance, but we do enough to get over the line. We weren't particularly great against Zagreb. I hope Zagreb were there for the taking, and I don't think we created enough to beat what was a pretty poor team in the Champions League, but we got the point there and whatever. But we come out in the second half. I don't think we started the second half too great either. Greg Taylor again with a missed kick, and I think this is a huge moment in the game. Greg Taylor is the missed kick. Rangers are bearing down on goal. It's 4v1, 4 Rangers attackers against Cameron Carter-Vickers. They slip the ball wide. And whoever the player is that he slipped to, all he's got to do is either cut it back to the striker or lift it over Cameron Carter-Vickers, and it's a tap in for one of the other two that are holding sort of the 6-yard line, the edge of the 6-yard line box. And it just hits Cameron Carter-Vickers. Colossal from Cameron to come across and block it. Massive moment in the game. Huge moment.
Yeah, certainly, like you said, a scenario that could have had a much worse outcome for Celtic, and thankfully it wasn't the case. Austin Trusty went off for half-time as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was due to performance or...
Yeah, Brendan said that, we thought he looked to be a bit nervy. He wanted our play to be a bit cleaner. Liam Scales come on. I thought Scales did okay. I think him and Trusty were pretty even, to be honest.
I think he puts one foot in wrong during extra time, but thankfully it's another one of those scenarios where Rangers don't capitalise on it.
Yeah. But yeah, massive, Cameron Carter-Vickers, what a player he's been. What an absolute colossal of a defender he's been for us across the years. A fantastic signing, and someone that heavens forbid if he does choose to leave him, when he goes eventually, what a replacement job that we have got on our hands to try and fill the boots of that man.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he puts that block in. A couple of minutes later, Nicholas Kuhn again just goes past Hefty with ease. Guys, utter mincemeat. Drives into the box. I think this is like he cuts it back for Kyogo, or maybe he has a shot this time. But one of them he cuts back for Kyogo, and Butland saves it really well. Kyogo lifts it as 1-1, but never fear, because from the resulting corner, and by the way, the corners in this game, like, the fuck can no one take a corner?
I was going to say, it felt a lot of them just didn't want to beat the first
Anyway,
man with these corners.
utterly dog shit. But anyway, this one comes in, it doesn't get cleared. It bounces out. Greg Taylor hits an absolute thunder cunt of a strike. I mean, rarely have I seen a more cleaner strike of the football. Fantastic. How he aims it for Raskin's foot. I mean, that's top level plays. Most people try and aim for the goal, but he's aiming for Raskin's foot, thinking if I hit it there, it will deflect. Fantastic from Greg. I love the thinking. But no, look, it's a bit of a, he screws the shot a bit. Raskin decides 10 yards out that he needs to try and put his studs on it. Thankfully, he does. And the ball ends up in the bottom corner. And momentum just swings, just drastically swings. I think, Rangers would have known that they'd been successful in what they were trying to do. They had success. They had pressed us. They'd won the ball back. They were looking good in transition, albeit, like I said, not creating masses of clear openings, but they definitely had that blueprint. And then all of a sudden, with one deflection, it's gone. And Celtic just seemed to spark into life. And the press was right. Raskin decides, I haven't helped Celtic enough. What I need to do is help him a wee bit more. Tries some dodgy.
It's a great assist, I must say.
Try some dodgy pass back with his head to Balogun. And by the way, we'll get onto him because any Rangers fans going to be in the comments there. Now we should have had a penalty. They should have gone to VAR. Right, let's talk about how many fucking fouls Balogun had before you start chatting about John Beaton being on our side. John Beaton, fucking drinking in a Rangers support club. John Beaton. We'll chat about him. Don't worry, we'll get to him. Fucking dog shit. But Maeda gets in. He flicks it up in the air. Now, I have said, for anyone that's listened to this podcast for a little bit of time, I have said that Daisy Maeda is the most frustrating footballer in the world because sometimes he does things incredible, right? And other times he looks like he wouldn't get a game at a local fives team, right? But thankfully for us, this is one of these times he decided to look incredible, right?
Oh yeah,
ball's up in the air, and see when it's up in the air, I don't believe he's going to control that ball with any kind of anywhere in his vicinity that he can capitalize on. I just don't think he is. Takes a magical touch, takes it across Balogun. Balogun now has to come through him if he wants to get the ball, and then with his left foot, a foot that he only ever really uses to stand on. Rarely does he lift that foot, but he's decided today of all days he's going to swing an absolute perler of a left foot through Jack Butland, 2-1. Pandemonium. I don't know what the fuck's happened. We're in the 60th minute. We've played good for about 5 minutes of this game and we're winning 2-1. This is the levels, right? And they can come away and talk about how well they played, right? But we turn it on for 5 minutes, right? We get a fortunate goal, but we decide to lock in and it all clicks for 5 minutes, right? And we rob you and score within 5 minutes. That's it.
Not once, but twice.
Once we get up to this level, right, then nothing on us. Unfortunately, when we score, I just wanted us to push on. They were there for the taking. I wanted us to run them over. For whatever reason, we didn't. The game then settled back down. They come into it again, started to apply a bit of pressure. Casper makes the
Diamande save. Yeah. Oh my word!
Unbelievable.
Like watching it, and first hand, thinking, "Oh, goal kick," and the referee's gone and waved for a corner, and I'm just thinking he did not get a touch. It's an unbelievable save with his rear hand.
And unfortunately, after such an incredible save, only a few minutes later, Arnie Engels gets pinned by all of Diamande. It's about fucking 8 stone soaking wet. Gets spun in the box, it gets hit, and I think Casper's saving that as well. But Kyogo this time gets his foot there, deflects off Kyogo, that takes it past Casper 2-2, game back on. Hey, fucking hell, what is happening here today? And there was always something coming into this. I don't know why. I don't know it's because they care so much about that fucking world's most successful football club. Well, it's Karen Pish. But there was something different about them today, 100%. I don't know if it's because, they were confident because they drew with Tottenham. I don't know. But they definitely felt like, a team that were going to be difficult to play against and not the run over mugs that we played in August. The game's sort of a bit scrappy back and forth.
Arnie Engels has a good opportunity where it's a great ball by Rio to find Arnie, and then he just takes that. Is that at 3-3?
That's extra
3-3? I may have gone. Okay.
Yeah. So they bring on Yilmaz, top boy, love him, great guy.
What a
Brilliant.
lad.
Brilliant.
I was going to say something and I can't do that.
I imagine these are his tears.
Yeah.
Yilmaz just decides he doesn't want to play left back because he's
where the fuck he was playing.
He's missing half the time down that left side. One of the times he goes for a wee dander and gets lost. Nicholas Kuhn gets on the ball. Arnie Engels overlaps. The ball gets slipped in. The ball's not great. Engels kind of takes it to the byline, cuts it back beautifully. Nicholas Kuhn comes onto it with his right foot, bang, 3-2, 85th minute. I cannot, that is it. We have done them again. We've beat them. Thank the Lord. Fuck them. Fuck them. 90 seconds later.
Yep.
The most and this it's some Celtic up. So like the most one-dimensional footballer that I've seen at Rangers is Cherney. Right, he has no right foot. He is only ever going to cut back onto that left foot, and he's either going to shoot or he's going to cross the ball.
The guy's a Czech Andros Townsend.
So yeah, to allow him to come back on to his foot, and he puts in a wonderful ball. I've seen some people talking about Ralston. Don't worry, we'll get on to him.
I was waiting for that.
I've seen some people talk about, could Cameron have taken a step back? I don't think so. The ball's amazing. Danilo's peeled away. Good header on it. Casper can't. I've watched it a few times, and the first time it goes in, I'm screaming at Casper. He's fucking headed in the 6-yard box. Where are you?
We'll get on to headers within the fucking 6-yard box. Don't we worry. No.
But yeah, I think that sometimes you just have to say it was a great cross. It was well finished. It's painful because all we've got to do is defend for 5 minutes and we're champions. But ultimately, extra time comes. I think about 5 minutes into extra time, they're dead on their feet. They can't press anymore. All the people that they've started the game that have played well, the Raskins are off. I think, did he come off? I don't know, fuck. But Connor Barron's on now for Diamonde. Yilmaz is on, top boy. Cyril Dessers, legend.
Oh God, did you see that clip of James Tavernier? And I think it was the Spurs game when they bring on Cyril Dessers, and it's just a clip of Tavernier turning his head to look at Dessers coming on, and he's just gone. It's brilliant.
They brought on Kieran Dow, top guy. Didn't even know he was there.
I couldn't believe he was still on their books.
But anyway, no one that comes on improves them. That engine room shuts down. Rio Hatate is starting to play his best football in extra time. That's the bit we were talking about, where he kind of takes it on the half turn, on the halfway line, gets into some space, looks at threading. Arnie Engels in. He takes a really bad touch. Otherwise, he has a clear shot at goal. But apart from that, in extra time, fuck all happened.
Not really, no.
Rangers were dead on their feet for the last 10 minutes. They were certainly holding on, but we didn't create enough and capitalise on that. They had a good shape. Nothing massive stands out.
I mean, if there was one thing that stood out, it was the first time I've actually seen Alex Vai play. Funny enough, because I just never. Yeah, I think I've just been misfortunate not to see him feature, and I saw him come on. I was like, okay, he's got a bit about him, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's still very young, but to come on in extra time in such a high magnitude type game, and to show that confidence and comfort he had on the ball, and even making these little sharp turns down the left flank, it looked very impressive.
Yeah, look, I don't think any of the subs were amazing that come on for Celtic. I thought Arnie Engel struggled. He looked
Yeah, he
like
did.
he looked like a boy that was low on confidence. He needs to, he needs to get back to where he was at when he first come and allow Brendan to mould him into the type of player that Brendan believes he can be. Still very young, but look, he gets the assist for Kuhn's goal, and if we had defended properly, which isn't his fucking job, if he'd just defended, ultimately he would have had an assist to a winner, but we don't. We don't block that cross, and ultimately we go to extra time. But yeah, I don't think he had his greatest game. James Forrest comes on really late on, doesn't really do much. Adam Eder come on, I thought he was all right, to be honest. Took the ball in really well a few times and was
I agree.
strong and pacey. I think, Alex Vai did good when he come on. Looked like a really good outlet, and Tony Ralston looked like he'd won a competition to play for Celtic football.
That's always the case, isn't it?
It isn't that. It is not an. I get that every squad needs to have, every team needs to have squad players and people that are happy, but he is such a downgrade on Alistair Johnson. It is fucking frightening.
Mm-hmm.
He is awful. And simply running and putting your all in and doing a fucking diving header to clear the ball, that does not constitute you having a good game. Right? Anytime he got near the fucking in any kind of attacking phase, he looked like he was clearing the ball. He was more effective yesterday for Rangers than he was Celtic. Because every time we got into an attacking position where he was up on the right hand side, he fucking cleared the ball out for a throw in on the other side or out for a goal kick. Awful. Running up and down is not a legitimate thing to be part of Celtic Football Club. You need to have more than that. I'm sorry, and he doesn't.
Sounds like an athlete.
I can't. I don't blame him for the goal because he has someone in his peripheral vision on the right that I think he's worried about, and he's keeping an eye on them, and maybe tries to step out. Maybe he shouldn't have tried to step out, but he tries to step out and he tries to come back in. Like I said, it was a really good cross. So I don't potentially blame him for the goal. I do blame him for every time he gets the fucking ball, he passes backwards. Like there is just a higher standard. Awful. That for me, looking across the team, our priority in January is a fucking another right back.
Yeah.
Someone that can come in over the top. Not Alistair Johnson, he's our guy, but someone that can come in and close down the ability level. Because Tony Ralston, awful. God awful. Nothing against the guy. Look, I hope he goes away, finds his level. Maybe he could get game time at Dundee United. Maybe he is a Premiership player. I don't know.
Who knows? Cardiff probably buy him for $2 million and just be
probably. But yeah, terrible. I've seen people actually say they thought he had a good game yesterday as well. It's just mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. And then we get to the Pens. They were a difficult watch. Because
they were. I mean, if you look at the build-up as well, like the build-up plays a big part as well when they do the coin toss for which end it's going to be at, who's going first, and it felt like everything was stacked there for Rangers to potentially come out on top. And I mean, yeah. What was your thoughts going into that?
Well, Tavernier was up first. We knew he wasn't going to miss. Not a fucking prayer.
Loved the shithousery from Casper though.
Yeah, I think with someone like Tavernier, he's took 20,000 penalties at this point now. He's confident in his ability. Slots it away, no problem. Adam Eder. For anyone from the other side of the city that slags us paying £9 million, that's what happens when you pay £9 million for a player, right? They take the ball, walk up first as a striker, and slot their penalty away. Right? So anyone that's comparing him to Cyril Dessers as someone that's got balls and someone who's an utter shite bag. Anyway, moving on. Adam Eder scores. Lovely job. Second, I think, was Hadji.
Hadji went up second.
Casper's probably telling him you're never going to be as good as your dad. My dad saved your dad's penalty or something. Hadji scores, gives a bit back. Fair enough, mate.
Yeah.
Fuck off, mate. You're about to collect a runners-up medal soon. Away you fuck.
In a
Callum,
case and not over your fucking neck either.
Callum comes up, leading by example, captain, straight in, no kissing, no more. And he goes, happy days. Third for them.
Who was it? I'm not thinking. It's not Danilo or someone, is it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he scores. He does a football. He scores. Well played.
He does a football.
Arnie Engel steps up for us. I'm worried, right?
Yeah, I felt the same as well. I was on the edge of my seat. I could not even imagine what was going through your mind at that point when he stepped up.
The boy is struggling so much. You can tell, right? He's low on confidence. There's obviously a bit of an adjustment period. He's put his name forward. He's, happy to take that pressure on. Neil Lennon even tries to put the commentator's cast on him. He says, "This boy's good at penalties." I'm like, shut the
yeah,
fuck
he's
up.
like, he hasn't. It was it. He had he's taken 3 penalties and scored them all so far this season.
Shut the fuck up, Neil. And yeah, he steps up coolly, slots it in, great pen, and then up comes wee Yilmaz. Looked like he was shitting himself. Took the penalty like he was shitting himself. And Casper gets down to the left. Massive save. And even at that point, right, because of the way that this game has gone, because of how many times we've been up at that, even at that point, I don't believe we're just going to go ahead and score the next 2 pens. It couldn't be that fucking simple. Not with how this day has been. Rio Hotati comes up, and he's probably the first real person since Adamida I was confident with.
Yeah.
I was scared about Callum. I don't know why. I was really scared about Arnie Engels. For some reason, Rio walks up, and I'm like, all right, yeah, Rio, my guy. Bottom corner, no ball, absolutely smashes it. Butler, no chance. Then Jack Butland decides
he's Joe Hart.
Fucking wanking over videos of Joe Hart doing this last season. Executes it better, fair play to him, he scores and all that. But I mean, like, stay in your lane, mate. Like, Jesus Christ. Anything we do, they have to fucking do. Like,
I like how he ran off as well after he took his penalty. He's like, no, mate, you got to get between the sticks again, mate.
Yeah. And then Maeda. And I was shitting a brick. Absolutely petrified.
Yeah.
Because he had such a moment earlier in the game. That will be an iconic Celtic moment. Just that, bringing the ball down and the way he slotted it. Because we go on to win that final, that will become iconic. Like the Cameron Carter-Vickers block will become iconic. The Yilmaz penalty save, like Kasper Schmeichel, will become iconic, and Deza Maeda slotting that in, having his moment, winning the game, will be an iconic moment.
Such a composed finish as well.
And absolute pandemonium.
Yeah.
The east end of the stadium in absolute limbs, and the other one emptying real quick.
I was going to say, world record for quickest fire drill?
It was emptying real quick. I did hear one commentator say, as Rangers fans were coming up to get their medals, it's nice of the Rangers fans to stay behind and watch their players like their runners-up medals. They're all dressed as seats now. So all right, fair play.
That's great.
But yeah, what a day. Callum keeps his record, never lost in a final. Brendan's only ever lost one derby. 119 honours, so now the most successful football club ever in Scotland, even if you add together the 2 iterations of Rangers Football Club. First bit of silverware of the season that really lays down the marker and opens up for what could be yet another treble. And yeah, it always just kicks the season off right. It's one of these ones where if you lose it, you get people calling it a Diddy Cup, but you can't win a treble without it. So you need it for the trifecta.
That's it.
And we done a double last season, and unfortunately, we've been so spoiled in this era that you do a double, which is fantastic. I mean, some clubs would love a double. Some clubs would.
Yeah,
Um,
but an emotional roller coaster to say at the very least. But like it was obvious that Celtic weren't at their best, and it goes to show when we spoke last week. If when Celtic do really turn things up, that you easily could have gone battered Rangers by 5 or 6 goals, but even when you're not at your best and you only have those periods, and it just showed that Celtic really capitalise in those moments.
I don't think we expected them to set up that way. We
Yeah.
weren't set up for them to play that way,
Mm.
and we didn't really figure it out. Um, they were doing a job on Callum, and what we really needed to do was play that first pass maybe directly into Hatate or Bernardo and get them to bounce it off to Callum and have him running off and
Mm.
bursting into the space, because they were going man for man with the press. And we didn't really figure it out, which was disappointing. But I guess what we'll know is kind of what to expect next time. Although I don't think they'll do that at Ibrox. So it'll be interesting to see how we set up, because I don't think their crowd will allow us to have 70% possession at Ibrox.
No, of course. Of course
So I
not.
think they'll try and play differently, and that could be detrimental to them. I think there'll be a false sense of security that they've got from this game. That by playing this way, they've managed to score 3 goals and draw over 120 minutes. I think there will be a full sense of security. So the 2nd of January will be another day where I feel sick as fuck as we buckle in for that. But for right now, we just enjoy the moments.
Enjoy the moment, 100%, and that's what champions do. Like talking about that winning mentality. When you feel like you're up against it, you're on the ropes. With these big characters in and around the squad, and the experience of doing it over and over and over again, it's special to see.
James Forrest goes level as the all-time most decorated Celtic football player, level now with Bobby Lennox, one of the Lisbon Lions. So incredibly
Wow, okay.
career. And obviously, if we go on to win the league and anything more, then he could become the most decorated player. Obviously, Cal makes his 100th European appearance as well in the week against Zagreb. So a load of personal milestones across the week, but such an achievement for the boys. And look, I could be a little bit. By the way, I've gone soft on Ralston there. Anyone thinking I'm being harsh when I say that? I could go in harsher on other people, but ultimately,
I think you have done in the
fine.
past as well.
Yeah, finals are about winning. It doesn't really matter, in essence, how you play. They're about getting over the line. The performance, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. And ultimately, it was enough to secure the League Cup.
You could have just farted then, and that would have summed up Ralston's performance.
True. Absolute pandemonium, euphoria. On cloud nine.
Cloud 119.
119. After honestly, I think talking about it now, maybe the first enjoyment that I've got from the game, which sounds so weird, and I'm sure there's wee fucking fannies down south that oh, I'm a Palace fan and I enjoyed every bit of the Brighton game. Well, good for you, fuck you, right?
Still don't know why that's a fucking derby either.
It goes back years, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Back to like the 70s, like Terry Venables or someone anyway. But maybe there are people that can enjoy those games and take them in. I just can't. I hate them. I hate every minute of them. And you just have this relief. And after the game was done, I tried to have a drink last night and couldn't even really enjoy it. Just wanted to go to bed.
Just from the emotional exhaustion, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Just so drained, man. And yeah, so I think sitting here now and going back over it is really the first time that I've fully enjoyed
Yeah.
Sort of reliving the match, thinking about moments, and um, when I think back, yeah, John Beaton, we nearly forgot.
Oh yeah, John Beaton.
And by the way, the Linos, pair of cunts. But John Beaton, right? So Rangers are complaining about the penalty, right? That when Scales is holding Cherney and apparently he's on the line. Look, I've seen freeze frames of when Scales makes the first initial tackle, and they're saying that's when the foul was, and ergo the free kick gets brought back. So anything that happens after it is unconsequential, whatever. I've seen free frames where he's holding his shirt, he's outside the box. I've seen subsequent stuff where he's holding it and it's inside the box. I don't really know if it was or if it wasn't. I know I'd be screaming for it if it was the other way and feel hard done by, but I can't tell you without the ref telling you exactly what the decision was, whether or not he got it right. Because if he gives it for the first foul and brings it back, then that's that. What happens afterwards is completely void, but we'll never get an explanation. But John Beaton was shit all game. Never felt like he had control of the game,
Felt
right?
very stop-start at one point as
Like
well. It's like, let the
just
game fucking run.
just dishing out yellow cards, camera cut. It's a derby, by the way, John. Right? And I know you fucking support one team, and that's the other thing. Those cunts think that there's some kind of conspiracy against them. You had your boy in charge, Cameron Carter Vickers. It's a derby. Comes in with a lovely tackle, gets the ball, leaves a bit on the man, but it is a fucking derby. Gets booked for it, right? The hefty tackle on Nicholas Kuhn is a disgrace,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How he stays on the field for that is fucking shocking, right? That doesn't go to VAR. That doesn't get checked. I wonder why, but it is a horror fucking tackle. Leon Balogun is booked, whatever, the 20th, 30th minute. He commits three more fouls after that. The final one being on Cameron Carter Vickers, who he just boots in the leg, right? There's a late tackle on the edge of the box. No second yellow, could easily have walked. Easily. Nothing. So, them chatting about this bullshit about, of course, they found a reason. That's because their big yappy board manager wants to yap away because he can't take fucking losing again. Serial loser, depressing wee bastard. Right? You're a second best. Well, if you win all your games in Hags at the moment, you're a third best team in Scotland. Like,
Yeah.
stay in your fucking lane. So the officials shit, utterly dog shit. And see that whatever the
They'd
first,
certainly, if there was anyone who didn't deserve medals at the end of the game, it was those wankers anyway.
yeah, fuck them. They were utterly dog shit.
Nah, fuck them. Absolutely fuck them. And, even after all of that, still coming out on top just makes it even more sweeter.
Never mind, eh?
Never
Hey,
mind, eh?
you with the sad face, come on to my place and live it up. So, what a time! What a time to be alive. Imagine waking up today and you're one of them. Fuck me, brutal, utterly brutal. All you've got is your sectarian Billy Boys pish and your quintessential British football club and your poppy and your God Save the King.
Oh, God, and they started singing that as well at one point as
You've
well.
got
Oh, my word.
fucking nothing
That
else.
was the stream muted for fucking 30 seconds. Horrible. Well, let's go on to more horrible things, shall we? Well, or you could just go back and watch the last episode. It's going to be completely identical, except for that we came out with a point instead of fuck all. But yeah, the dark times continue to roll with the Bluebirds, as expected. Starting off midweek last week, Wednesday night, in the Welsh capital, where we endured a 2-0 defeat to Preston North End, a team that, again, who's not doing so well at the moment, and of course, being at home, you always fancy yourself to come out on top, and that just wasn't the case at all. And if we're talking about shit referees, Preston should have been down to 10 men in the first half. There's a tussle between Perry and G and what's his name? Frokier, who plays for, he's like the Norwegian midfielder.
Sounds like you just made up a Skyrim character.
He fucking looks like one, that's for sure. Ugly cunt. And anyway, bit of like a shirt pull tussle for the ball. NG goes down under the challenge, wins the free kick, but there's still a bit more tussling between the two of them. And then he strikes him the side of his leg, blatant violent conduct, and he gives him a yellow. I'm sorry, if VAR was a thing in the Championship, it would have been bye-bye for him. How the fuck he gets a yellow and not a red for that, I'll never understand. If it's the other way round, it's a fucking straight red. And we've had red cards for things fucking less than that. This, Callum Robinson throwing a ball at Ben Cabanjo's fucking 50p head. And this guy's full on struck his knee in the side of Perry and G's leg. In clear sight as well, and he's fucking dragged him away and given him a yellow. And so, from that point on, it's going to be one of those games. I don't want to see Callum Chambers in the Cardiff shirt again. And and this is me being, very, relatable as you are with Anthony Ralston. But I don't want to see him in the Cardiff shirt again. He made 2 or 3 misplaced passes, put, suicide balls in that first half. And then go figure, this fucking Norwegian midfielder, I'm going to butcher his name, puts the ball into the box and Callum Chambers swings a fucking awkward leg at it and it ends up in the back of the net, puts us 1-0 down, and then we have heaps of possession and utilise none of it at all. Just like no options going forward, no intent, no fucking, no urgency, nothing. And then it comes to 6 minutes added on, pushing for a draw. Throne's played back to Gutas, who lets it bounce awkwardly, and then Osmanovic shoves him off, rounds up Jak Alnwick, and then slots it into the net to make it 2-0. And here we are again, another defeat. And yeah, based off of that, going to the, what is it, Bet365 Stadium it's called?
I don't know.
I don't get all these things. I've always known it's the Britannia.
Yeah, them and Bolton are like cousins, aren't they? 27 fucking names for their stadium.
No, it's just, we go away to Stoke. And Stoke, again, have been, very identical position to where Preston are at the moment. Lower half, but they're in that mix between 5 other teams where if they win, they jump up to 12th, or if they lose, then they're down where we are, essentially. Horrid start. They take the lead after 17 minutes where a shot is struck straight at Jak Alnwick and he decides to paticate it into the path of fucking Andrew Moran to slot into a, very identical to the first goal in the Rangers Celtic game, but this is literally straight at Alnwick. Why are you palming it into the path of them again? And so I just thought, well, yeah, here we go. There it is. There's one of many. And then thankfully, we strike back. Equalizer from El Ghazi, surprisingly. Second goal of the season now for Cardiff. And okay, just thinking okay, well, if we can take our chances when they come and we can work the ball up into their half accordingly, maybe we can nick something. And yeah, fortune came our way in the second half. Ball comes across the box, and Ben Gibson, feeling generous to again put the ball in the back of his own net to give us the lead. And honestly, I really thought just for 1 minute, and I'm sure you were thinking the same on your bet slip, that Cardiff were going to come away with 3 points. Step forward, Jak Alnwick again. Hold my beer. Free kick, 95th minute. And I don't know what he is thinking coming off his line. I mean, the ball lands just inside the 18-yard box, essentially. And he's coming off his line to try and punch this out through a flurry of bodies. and all Ben Gibson has to do is make contact, direct his header towards goal, and it's in the back of the net. And that's exactly what happened. If you look at the replay of that goal, you just like Alnwick is miles away from getting on to the end of that ball. Nowhere near it. There's two defenders in front of him who didn't even get on to the end of it, and he thinks he's gonna fucking come flying out like Bruce fucking Wayne and gonna make a fucking clearance with his fist. Nowhere near it. Fucking brain dead goalkeeping. I don't get why fans, I mean, I get it in essence, but at the same time, we dropped Jak Alnwick, we got fucking Ethan no fucking palms Horvath in goal again. And it's just, trying to decide between pig shit and cow shit who you want to have in net. And so it was, a massive blow to us. I mean, it's a point away from home. It's definitely a result I would have taken, and before the first whistle. But the circumstances always change that thought process, and we really should have held out in those 6 minutes ahead of time for the 3 points, and that would have done us a huge favour, because there's us now just outside the relegation zone, and Pompey have got a game in hand over us, point behind us, and so things could change really, really quickly.
They're spectacularly shite, though.
Oh, we're amazingly shite as well.
No, but I mean, Portsmouth are poor.
They are, and the fact that we're down there with them kind of puts us in that same bracket as well.
I'd be more worried about a resurgence at Hull. If when I'm looking at the teams down there, and I know it's a cliche, and it's been proven wrong so many times. When you say, I just think they're a little bit too good to be down there. But Hull were basically in the playoffs nearly all of last season, only just falling short towards the end of the season. I can't see them staying there. So I think they're the outliers that could quite easily go on a 3, 4, 5 game run.
Yeah.
Where they pick up some real points and catapult themselves out, and then that's the dogfight.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to get to a point when it's going to be too little, too late. I mean, looking at the gap now, there's us, Oxford, on 18 points, and then next is Luton on 22, and so we've got a 4-point gap there. Thankfully, Luton have played a game more than us, so we've got that as well in our favour. But the run up in this, games in this Christmas period is brutal. Home to Sheffield United next, away to Oxford on Boxing Day,
huge game,
and then away to Watford, and it's not going to get any easier for us.
Oxford's massive. Chef U, I think Cardiff historically always play up when the big boys come to town. Sometimes they're not successful in getting what they deserve from the game, but I think historically they always play up when the big boys come to town. So I would expect a performance from Cardiff. Will it be enough? Because like I said, Sheffield are on that run where they just seem to churn out results and find a way, which all teams when they're at the top seem to do. So I wouldn't be expecting miracles. I would expect a performance. The Oxford game is huge. Watford blow hot and cold. We see that last season. I think you won there last season, didn't you? At Vicarage Road.
Yeah, we won there last season. They are a very hit and miss side, in general. But they're another side who are flirting with playoffs at the moment. Picked up a really good win at home yesterday against West Brom, who again are another side who are performing well. So Watford could go one way or the other, depending on if we decide to show up or not. It's just I look at this squad right now, and who's that guy? Who's that go-to guy who's gonna be the difference maker? Who's gonna lift a squad that that consists of so low morale right now, and I can't really pick out who it is. Colwell's dropped off completely. The goals from Robbo have dried up, and I don't know if that's probably come down to like the lack of service he's got. I do feel that we've always struggled with a lack of service when it comes to strikers in recent years even. And yeah, it's really hard to really to pinpoint an individual or a few individuals who are pick us up by the scruff of the neck and make a difference in these games. Chris Willock, I thought, actually put in a strong performance against Stoke. It was nice to see. But now, this is what he needs to do going forward if he wants to cement his start, if he wants to be starting over Ollie Tanner. He's got to be doing it week in, week out. Otherwise, we're just going to be constantly chopping and changing as we are right now. And the injury list as well also hasn't been beneficial to us. Having Isaac Davis on the sidelines, Tete out, Turnbull's now out for a substantial period now due to having surgery on his hamstring. Ramsey, I don't know if he ever will play again for us, to be honest. He's just, I love him, but obviously he's got to that point now in his career where, he's not going to be his usual self. And so, yeah, no, it's tough to watch. And there's always that hope low down, but that hope is slowly fading away. And, as the weeks go on, the lack of points we pick up, it's just putting us. And what can you do? I'm only someone who sits in front of a camera and a microphone to grieve my frustration. And it feels like the board have made their bed, and they've got to sleep in it now, and they're going to take us down with them. Going forward with Omarisa to the end of the season, there has been initial talks about what the plan is for January. I'm not having high hopes based off of previous seasons where, Bullock's been promised funds in January, Morrison's been promised this, and we end up making 2 loan signings on deadline day, and it's just like, it's not what we need. But, it just feels like there's never going to be a strategy in place that's really going to bring us back up to where I feel we believe we belong. And so,
well,
yeah.
Talking of clarity and strategy, obviously last week we spoke around the open letter,
Yes.
and the response or non-response really of what was regurgitated and thrown back at the Cardiff City supporters.
Throwing their toys out the pram, essentially. Yeah.
We have the second iteration of the Cardiff
Response
City
Part 2.
The Cardiff City Chronicles. Here we go. Buckle in. I've been reliably informed by yourself that the first 2 paragraphs are just a load of shite.
I think the first 2 paragraphs are more in relation to the first response.
Probably should have put it on that letter then.
In terms of them expressing their their frustration in terms of how the FAB open letter was published before it was basically addressed by Steve Borley, who is the co-chair, and it came to the light of the board that it was an oversight of protocol, and realised that communication is very strained between the fans and the board in general. Speaking of communication, we are going to go over the points that were raised in the initial open letter, and they have responded to the 3 vital points that we brought up. And so the first question was the current managerial situation and the process involved. So, and I quote, "Events had taken point 1 with Omarisa having been appointed manager until the end of the season. A discussion took place on typical managerial recruitment process, which involved compiling a short list from a significant number of approaches that happens when a position becomes vacant. This is typically from far and wide, and advice is sought from trusted parties. The chairman and CEO would typically meet the shortlisted candidates and make recommendations, but final decision will be made by the owner. Go figure. The owner has strong views on the type of manager he wants, and in this instance, having sacked a manager on a significant package, he wanted time to assess the interim manager before he made his final decision.
Cheap.
Question 2. A clear plan for the current season and the longer-term strategic plan. With the ongoing substantial financial support of the owner, Vincent Tan, the club's strategy is to further invest in its well-regarded academy system and to develop the state-of-the-art training facility at Hensel. In addition, the owner continues to provide funds for improvements and additions for the first team squad with players who should have enhanced transfer values should they be sold on at a future date. Cheap. Steve Borley also referred to the three-pillar principle referred to in the fans' parliament meeting by CEO Ken Chu. The pillars were outlined as being progression of youth, playing with an attractive style, and balancing age and experience throughout the squad. Academy manager Gavin Chesterfield presented to the group highlighting the journey and strategy for pre-academy players through the age groups up until integration with the first team squad. The presentation covered the principles, values, development and playing style at each level. The presentation was supported by statistics and highlighted our standing in performance comparisons with peer groups. Mike Whedon complimented Gavin's presentation, and it was suggested that we combine a mission paper covering the club's three pillars and academy strategy. Question 3. Improved communication and transparency. It was agreed that communication would solve this issue. FAB co-chair Mike Whedon now has a direct line of communication to co-chair Steve Borley on matters of concern without needing to filter questions via the SLO. Don't know what that stands for. It was also stated that Chairman Mehmet Dalman will continue his regular fans meeting when he attends games, if he attends games even, and will look to arrange a further fans parliament in 2025. The last meeting had a disappointing attendance given the number of acceptances received, and so the club will look to open it next time to a larger number. Don't know how much I believe, really.
So basically, what I took from that is we want the cheap option, right? We've got someone in with a PowerPoint, and he showed us a few videos of some kids kicking some balls around, and that's
Because that's his fucking job, though.
very Roy Keane here.
It's true. It's his job, isn't it?
Next week gonna be, I'll meet you in the car park.
Meet you in the car park. But Gavin Chesterfield, he's done a fantastic job with the academy. But this is, again, it's in essence a long-term plan.
Let's be honest, right? Across the last, let's whittle it down, right? Across the last 5 years, who has been a success? And I'm asking you this generally because who has been a successful graduate of the Cardiff City Academy that's gone on to play in the first team and have a meaningful impact?
The last one to do it was probably Chris Gunter.
So no one in the last 5 years.
I mean, we've had We've had players that have gone on to bigger clubs, but when they've been 15 or 16.
Yeah, so I'm saying that they're saying that the progression's on youth. So who's the last person? I wouldn't, maybe this is an argument but I wouldn't class Ruben Colwill as being a graduate that has gone on to have a significant impact.
Exactly, and that's why I didn't say him.
So, and at the moment he's probably the shining light from the academy.
He is probably right now, and then around him, I mean, there's obviously Kian Ashford, who's made his way up and integrated himself into the first team. Isaac Davis as well, probably put there. Joel Colwill even had made a few sparse appearances and has now gone on loan to Cheltenham where he's doing really well. But there isn't a standout figure who has worked their way up through the academy, integrated into the first team, and has just gone on and gone on to a bigger club, really.
Yeah. Or had a meaningful impact.
Or had a meaningful impact. There isn't it? No.
On the side. So the fact that that's their plan, but you could, if this was day one and they'd just come through the door and they said, this is our plan, right? We want to focus on youth. We want to promote the academy. We want to work with the academy. We want to develop them and we want to bring them in to make them first team players. And we want to push that as our identity, as well as, making a few, very coy and subtle moves in the transfer market to make sure we have that balance of youth as well as experience. You might buy in, but this isn't day one. This is day 1,000 and whatever the fuck it is. Right? We haven't seen that project come to fruition, and you've been here a while. Ruben Colwell, again, probably the shining light across the last 5 years, and every year we're saying, this is his year, this is when he's got to step up, and he fails to, which begs the question, is the Championship his level? Is he ready for this level? So this is your shining light, and he's what now, 21?
21, yeah.
So he's at 21, and we're questioning whether he's ready for this level, which tells me that the Cardiff City Academy isn't producing people of that ilk. And this is a problem that is across the whole of the UK, because like you said, what happens, right, is anyone that has any promise gets hoovered up right, by big clubs. So anyone that has any kind of promise, a 13, 14-year-old at Cardiff, right, they're getting hoovered up by Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Exactly.
They just get hoovered up and taken away, right? And that's the massive problem. Ben Doak, massive talent at Celtic, hoovered up by fucking Liverpool, now on loan at Middlesbrough, playing very well, but just absolutely hoovered up. Calvin Ramsey at Aberdeen, just hoovered up by Liverpool. And there will be so many clubs, so many people that are listening to this podcast that support a club that could tell you of someone that had great promise, you just got hoovered up by a big club and has just fallen into complete obscurity because they weren't allowed the chance to develop. So even if you get the next Gareth Bale, he doesn't play for Cardiff because he grows up in this dog shit generation where all you see on the TV is the Premier League. That's all anyone is pushed to. And then in comes some top six team that says, we'll pay you fucking £600,000 compensation, and just takes that player. So how can your whole how do you keep those players? You're saying that this is the project, but I don't hear any sustainable way that they're saying this is how we're going to keep our top talent. Ruben Colwell, right, as much as he could go on to be a good player for Cardiff, right, he wasn't good enough to get hoovered up by the big clubs, which tells me that he is not of that ilk that is going to progress to a level. Now, he may become a good Championship player, potentially, but we haven't seen it as of yet.
This is it, yeah.
So your strategy can't be, we're going to focus on the youth when you come from such a small base as well, like such a small base. Like, you're not in London, you're not going to attract across all these international players that are going to want to come and move over to Cardiff and take on the big bright lights, and you don't have that London appeal. So it is going to be people from a very small network in and around Cardiff. You're also, within that network, you're battling with your local rivals just down the road that are going to be casting their net over the same pool of players because you're at the exact same level. So both are going to be offering equal opportunities. So you're up against the direct rival that can offer the same outlay in terms of competition of the league that you're playing in. It is utterly mind-blowing that this is it. And
just look at the Welsh national team. How many Cardiff players are in there?
Yeah.
Colwell doesn't get called up. There's no one there. Swansea have more players called up the Wales, where you got fucking Ben Cabanjo, Liam Cullen, fucking, what's his name, Ollie Cooper. Yeah, that's 3 off the bat there. Like, Cardiff haven't had anyone in fucking years represent Wales. Bellamy is just, and going back when Bellamy was under-18s manager at Cardiff, and when Warnock was there, and they both said there's no one good enough. There's no one of that calibre who can make that step up to the first team yet. There isn't anyone there.
And
then you had Mick McCarthy come in, who, gave Ruben Cole his first big break, and then he was, fading in and out, showed these glimpses of promise, and then again would just fall off, and then he'd be playing under 23s again, and then he'd get called up again, play well 2 or 3 games, and then fall off again. This is why Bellamy doesn't have faith in him at all, because he's coached him at that fucking level when he wasn't an academy graduate, and now when he's he can't decide whether or not he wants to be a consistent performer for us.
Yeah,
there's no one there.
It's the consistency piece.
That's it.
It's no good having 1 or 2 good games. You need that consistent outlet. And look, academies is a problem across the UK.
It is. It really is.
It is a massive problem.
It has been for years as well.
Everybody just gets hoovered up by the Premier League, and even if it isn't a top 6 club, right? You've only got to look at the likes of Nathan Patterson at Rangers. Was a young developing right back. Just Everton just come in and take him for whatever the fee was. 5 million was it? I don't know what it ended up being.
Again, wasn't a substantial. I mean, for his age at the time, it was. But at the same
buttons to them. That is absolute buttons to the Premier League. They're happy to outlay £5 million on an absolute project that could go wrong. So anyone that produces any kind of promise at any kind of young age, they will be scouted. They will be watched very closely, and they will just be hoovered up to go and play. And they'll be sold as the academy. Look at the people that we've brought through. Liverpool, look at Curtis Jones and look at this person, and look what we've done here. And the pathway will be far clearer to going on to play, top level football through that direction than it is staying low. And everybody leaves.
Yeah.
I struggle now to think of a young player that's come up somewhere and has turned down a move or wants to remain. It's get me there as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm. Fast tracked. Yeah, I was watching something the other day. It was just a YouTube short on when Theo Walcott getting called up to the England squad at the age of 17.
Now he's an outlier because he went on to have a real successful career. An incredible talent. Played a lot of games for Arsenal and was ready for it. But these guys are freaks. Like Wayne Rooney going to Man United at whatever age it was, 18 or whatever. These boys are freaks. That's not the norm. Michael Owen bursting onto the scene at Liverpool, just freaks. That doesn't.
Michael Richards bursting on the scene at Man City.
He couldn't see. It's
remember that Edward against Villa.
Yeah, that letter to me stinks of cheapness, shortchanging the supporters, a bunch of lies. Yeah, and look, I'm not anywhere near as invested as you or any of those people that have gone to those meetings that have bared their soul on the line for the team that they love and have supported all their lives. But how can you trust?
Honestly, I called my dad after the Stoke result, and he answered the phone. I went, "Why did you do this to me?"
Yeah, it's
I just don't know, mate. I don't know. It makes it really difficult to come on to this platform and just have to really dive deep into it and to not get so overly emotional about it, because I'm sitting there and I want to dash my phone up against the wall. I'm like, I fucking hate football. I just like, but at the same time, like I love, I love being able to come onto this platform because it, like you said, it does prove to be very therapeutic when you really dive deep into it and you have a full blown discussion with someone who actually understands. And so, but it doesn't surprise me one bit. Nothing surprises me one bit. They were always going to fucking throw curveballs at this open letter, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yes, 100%. Right, let's pivot.
Let's pivot, yeah.
And
We do a
let's
nice pivot now.
we'll stay in English football, because that's what the masses want to consume. And we'll talk on something that I think will bring a wry smile to your face.
Okay.
Because a couple of weeks ago, you smiled at the sacking of Steve Cooper.
Yeah.
Rude Van Nistelrooy going in and delivering a couple of decent results for Leicester before they were utterly thumped in Geordie land. But today, Russell Martin has been sacked.
Hey door.
Southampton, that were thudded in the first half, hit for 5 off of Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham, that slumped to a 1-1 draw when they were north of the border on Thursday night, but turned up and absolutely scudded Southampton, who sit rock bottom, 5 points. Russell Martin shown the door. How does that? What are your initial thoughts?
I mean, it's music to my ears because obviously, I don't speak very highly of Russell Martin. Yeah, it was certainly incoming. It's the same with Gary O'Neil at Wolves as well. When there's only so much that you can endure, and like, I know they're only a team that's recently come up, but I mean, especially when you see the likes of Ipswich picking up points on the road, which obviously were the team responsible for getting Gary Neal his marching orders. But no, Southampton I don't think they strengthened anywhere near enough to compete within staying in the Premier League. And yeah, they're in a real ditch right now. I do feel Russell Martin will end up at another Championship club inevitably. Obviously, he earned his move to Southampton and did okay for a while. Obviously, got him back up into the Premier League, but yeah, no, he's left them in the shit big time, and it's beautiful to see for Russell Martin. I mean, I like Southampton as a club, but it's always good to see a Jack fail.
And you touched on there Gary O'Neil as well.
I did, yeah.
Ugly scenes have marred Wolves' last 2 defeats. Obviously, it started at West Ham and continued after their late defeat to Ipswich. Some utterly wild scenes, players being literally pulled and pushed off the pitch. Cunha elbowing someone in the back of the head and then stealing someone's glasses. I mean, that feels like in 5 years that will be a pub quiz question. What did
you definitely see it on the chase, won't you? Yeah.
What did Cunha do at the end of a Premier League match? Did he steal a ball? Did he steal someone's jacket, or did he steal someone's glasses?
Still an ice cream van.
I mean, Gary O'Neil was very critical of these players afterwards. Basically saying that he's never seen a group of players or struggled to bring a group of players up to the required level as such with this bunch. Harsh words. I think he well and truly lost the dressing room. Do you think it's right that he's been given the boot?
Well, results haven't gone in his favour, and this is a squad who I do feel since Nuno Santo left, they've just been a downward spiral. Wolves, I feel they haven't really reinvested smartly off the sales of Ruben Neves and Pedro Neto. I think they've had poor choices in managers when they went with like that Lopetegui, who's now on the verge of getting the boot at West Ham. I just think they haven't really managed to build on what foundations Nuno set at the club. And I honestly thought that Wolves would have been a team that would be in the same position as someone like Villa, for example. It'd be up there pushing for like European football, have a very strong and durable squad that is capable enough to compete at the highest level, and they just haven't done that. They just, I think they spent very poorly, and like I said, poor choices of managers, and it almost felt like Gary O'Neil was a cheap option in a sense. Like obviously he had a good spell when he first came in, and then it just fell away. And I mean, even the players they got right now. I mean, Wolves are a club that are severely underachieving right now, and they're in real danger of becoming once again a Champions League football club.
Championship
football club. Championship. Sorry.
Yes, they do sit 5 points adrift from Leicester, and then a further 6 points from Everton, who picked up a draw at the Emirates. And then an extra 1 point further up is Crystal Palace, that obviously beat Brighton on the weekend. I asked you last week, will Ipswich, Wolves and Southampton be the bottom three? You said yes. Ipswich win on the road. Does that change your mind, or are you still confident that...
Huge victory for Ipswich, by the way. Massive win, and it was one of those games that they had to take points. And more than happy for Ipswich that they won. It was really good to see. Big fan. Got some really good players in there. Kieran McKenna, fantastic manager. And it's weird. The whole things can change very quickly. And Ipswich are definitely, they've weighed themselves up to the challenge now, and by all means, they've now put themselves in a good position where they could potentially stay up. And even if you look at the opposite side of the table as well, where you see Arsenal drop points, Liverpool drop points, and Chelsea, picking up the win against Brentford, and all of a sudden they're a point behind Liverpool. I know Liverpool have got a game in hand, but it's just it's really bizarre. Now, 1 week you could say these are definitely the 3 teams going down. These are the teams that are definitely going to finish in the top 4. But then all of a sudden, a week later, it almost has you guessing twice, really.
That is a fantastic way of dodging the question. Will those 3 go down?
I know. I haven't looked at the Premier League table, so I don't know what... I know
Ipswich are 2 points behind Leicester now.
2
3
points behind Leicester.
behind
2 points behind Leicester. No, I do feel it stay the same. I do feel it does. Yeah, right now. Apologies for dodging the question. I was kind of just elaborating a little bit.
You must swift it. I'm going to ask this every single week till we get some kind of resolution.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, is he going to be sacked?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is getting sacked. He's fucked. That's a swift answer for you. Yeah, he's out the fucking door. Dog shit. He's a Spanish Russell Martin. That's what he is. I said too much?
You need to be careful, mate. You're going to Manchester next year.
Top man for that, alright. I'm showing up in the Kagul zip top, bucket hat. They won't know who I am.
I was a swift answer. I'm going to follow you up then. Who does City go and replace their legacy with? Like, Pep is their legacy.
Yeah. Well, Steve Cooper's available.
Fair enough, Steve Cooper.
No, I'm joking. No, you know what? I saw a fantastic picture the other day, and it was like Pep looking into a mirror, and the reflection's Errol Bullitt. Who would their replacement be? So if they were to get rid of Pep, who?
I've heard whispers of De Zerbi, obviously second in League.
Doing really well with Marseille. Yeah, funny enough, that's a weird. Yeah, my Swedish tutor is a Marseille fan. He's he's half French and his dad's Marseille, so that's how it worked out. And he's a huge fan of De Zerbi, a huge fan. So and I told him that he was he was a manager that all the top clubs were looking at once upon a time when he was on his way out from Brighton, whether he was going to take over at Chelsea or Liverpool. And then obviously they went with other options, and
just think Graham Potter's been biding his time. He's going to swoop in.
He's not even going to get the England job either. Fucking pissed to be him. Yeah. I mean, they'll go with a big name.
Sheffield go 3 points clear at the top. Leeds drop points away at Preston North End. Again, last week, I says, will they be the top two?
They're a good team, Preston, by the way. Good
team. Burnley are now within a point. Sunderland are back within 2 points. We need to give Sunderland a shout out, don't we?
Oh, thank you. They are so shit, aren't they?
What, Sunderland?
No, not Sunderland. No, the Jacks. No, don't throw me under the bus with Sunderland fans. No. Massive club. Fantastic comeback though.
2-0 down in the shit pit. To 3-2. Job Bellingham getting the winner. Brilliant result, like.
He's better than Jude. What an absolute shagger. I feel he'll get picked up by a big club in the summer next season.
Wonder if Sunderland will retire his number.
Sorry?
Wonder if Sunderland will retire his number.
Who knows? I mean, anything's possible. I mean, after honestly, when Birmingham did that, it was like.
I mean, hindsight's 2020. You look back now and you go, all right, he made it to Madrid, fair enough. But when they first did it,
it makes a bit more sense now.
Bit mad. Some big results though. Middlesbrough obviously beating Millwall. That is Neil Harris's last game in charge of Millwall, ends in defeat. Blackburn cruising past Luton, 2-0 to keep their playoff charge going. Coventry City compounding the misery on Hull. I think that might be Frank Lampard's first victory as Coventry City manager.
It is, yeah.
So some big results. Obviously, Sheff Wednesday beating Oxford 3-1. I think their manager is has been rumoured to be one of the early targets for the Southampton job, which I thought was a bit weird, bit strange.
It's a German guy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Roll. Yeah, as an RHL, yeah.
Something like that.
I do like him though. I think he's had a good tenure at Sheff Wednesday.
Maybe
for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, yes.
Sheffield Wednesday is a massive football club. Now I know that they've had their owner problems, but it hurts my soul a little bit to see these type of teams sort of languishing, and then people saying, "Ah, it was a good job because they got promoted from League One." Like, come on. I think maybe it was his appearances on ITV during the Euros and his connection with Gary Neville and Ian Wright that's done him some favours. But yes, a little bit further down, just because the Premier League's boring, and I enjoy talking far more about other leagues rather than that fucking tourist league.
I'm going around Sweden just trying to convince everyone that the Championship's fucking 10 times better.
Cardiff wasn't the only team from Wales to draw 2-2 on the weekend. Wrexham succumbing to a late Cambridge penalty, I believe. I think it flashed up as. So they draw 2-2. Birmingham win. I think Wickham and the dominant performance of, I think that drops them outside of the automatic.
Wickham at top.
Birmingham second.
Then
Wrexham
third.
but Wrexham have played 2 games more than Birmingham and a game more than Wickham. So your dad's ghost team have dropped off the ball a little bit.
I'm just dreading when they get up to the Championship, and then fucking bring in like Joby Bellingham, and just absolutely pace the Championship apart because they got owners who actually give a shit.
But we'll round off. We'll finish with some SPFL action. I don't know how much.
SPS, I can't even say it.
SPFL.
Premiership.
Yes. Hibernian, 3-1 victors over Ross County. Massive result for David Gray.
Yep. Back off bottom spot again.
Considering the form that they had been in, I mean, they've only lost one of their last 4 games. That obviously coming at Celtic Park, beating Motherwell at Fir Park 3-0, and then obviously back at Easter Road on Saturday, winning 3-1 and drawing 3-3 at home to Aberdeen, which was a mad game. A couple of late goals there. Aberdeen thought they had won it. They're in catching region now for Rangers. Game of the day though, at Fir Park, Motherwell 4, Dundee United 3. Absolute cracker. I think that puts Stuart Kettlewell's side back up to 4th. Back up to 4th.
Yeah, 4th.
Just the 7 points behind Rangers. Well,
who knows? Who knows?
Sam Dolby. Now that is a football manager blast from the past. Currently top goal scorer in the league, because I'm pretty sure at some point he played for Wrexham. Yes, he did. There we go.
Sam Dolby. Trying to think back on my football manager experience, if I've ever had him on my books.
I had him one time. Did fuck all. I'm glad to see he's banging in goals for Dundee United. Not enough though. Not enough goals was he banging in on the weekend. Did score a brace, and Louis Mole, blast from the past.
Louis Mole, that's a name I fucking recognise.
And then St Mirren, 2-0 down we're 2-1 down in the 81st minute. They equalised on the 88th minute and won it with a penalty in the 99th minute.
99th minute?
To keep them in the top 6.
Roland Idowu.
And as you said, Hibs now up to the lofty heights of 9th. Could have been even better. But Kilmarnock, down to 10 men, actually managing to beat Hearts, which is a dreadful result, really, for Neil Critchley.
Neil Critchley, that's again another name.
And his time could be coming to...
Was it Blackpool he was at before, once upon a time?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, word. Well, here's a quick fire question for you. Are Hearts down?
No. I think the likes of St Johnstone, that are in and around
Ross County.
Yeah, County. I think that Hearts they need to get Lauren Shankland on a treadmill, get him to lose that gut, and tell him that if he wants to sign his pre-contract with Rangers, he needs to fucking score some goals.
Or just get pneumonia like me. That's how I dropped off weight.
But I worry for St Johnstone, Ross County as well. I think Hearts, even with the start of the season they've had, look at Hibs. Like I said, they've put together a couple of wins. They've jumped up to 9th. If Hearts were to win next week and County and St Johnstone don't win, then all of a sudden again, they're up to 10th and off the bottom of the table. So yeah, I still think they'll be fine. They play St Johnstone as well on the 22nd. It's a massive game. And then this game should be on TV, and it's an absolute fucking disgrace that it isn't. Take it back. It is.
It makes sense to be on TV, that's for sure.
It's the Edinburgh Derby on Boxing Day.
Happy days.
12:30 at Tynecastle. You say this every time a derby comes around, but that may be the biggest Edinburgh derby there has been for quite some fucking time.
Yeah.
Both teams very evenly matched. I believe they drew the first one at Easter Road this season. Let me just confirm in case I'm bullshitting. Yeah, it was 1-1. Late Hearts goal saved them on that day. Absolute fantastic derby. If by any chance you are some person that only watches English football and you simply come here to hear us talk about Cardiff and the Championship, watch that game. It'll be good.
It is a good game. Watched it before. Highly recommend.
Yeah. I mean, is there a lot of good football on show? Not really. Not even when back in the day when they were actually decent, and they're pretty shit now. But it'll be a good game. It'll be competitive. A lot of passion on the line. The fans fucking hate each other as well. That's what you need from a derby. None of this.
Exactly.
None of this
You want
carry
a pure hostile atmosphere.
Yeah. None of this carry on bullshit where people sit in the fucking. I was watching a video on YouTube. Some fella was out watching LA Galaxy. They won the Western Conference a couple of weeks ago, or something. No away end in America. They just sit together.
No away end.
None. Fucking weird, isn't it?
Don't say it. Don't say it. How very nice, though. They're very jolly and joyful, those Americans.
They're going to get a fucking rude awakening when
barbecue.
the World Cup's going to descend on them in 2026. They're going to know what the fuck's here, like.
They'll need fucking away ends, then, that's for sure.
Argentina and Brazil, they'll just sit together, wouldn't they?
Oh my god, how have I forgot, right? The fucking World Cup qualifying groups. 3 things you can guarantee in life: death, taxes, and Wales and Belgium in the same fucking group. Again.
Oh shit, I've missed this as well.
Wales and Belgium in the same group again. I mean, the rest of the group's really nice. There's Kazakhstan, there's Liechtenstein, and then there's someone else who we can probably beat. Oh, North Macedonia. But of course, Belgium.
Someone else who could probably fucking hell.
I'm not too sure who Scotland got.
Here we go. FIFA. No, that's the Club World Cup. Fuck that shit. Wait, is this it?
Oh, here we go. Greece, Belarus.
And team will be confirmed. Why do you know your one?
And the defeated side in the UEFA Nations League quarter-final between Portugal and Denmark.
Oh.
Why the fuck you only got 4 teams? I mean, I guess they just needed somewhere to put fucking Liechtenstein by the sounds of it.
So
furious.
Hopefully Denmark then. Yeah, Greece, Belarus, and hopefully Denmark. That feels doable. I wish I was in Ukraine's group. Iceland, Azerbaijan, and team to be confirmed. And we do not at the moment. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? For some reason, on the flash scores, it's called World Championship.
Don't say it, Morg. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? I've had an absolutely fantastic time laughing at others' misfortunes, mainly those that dress themselves in red, white, and blue.
Covered his collar up. There's no white and red on this. Sorry.
Singing about being up to their knees in our blood, and we're just up to our fucking noses in trophies over here, laughing at them. It's great, fucking great crack.
Yeah.
It's been that good crack. We could even pause and look at Steve Clark ball. Who'd have thought it?
Oh yeah. Well, what have we learnt? Celtic, now the most successful team in Scotland. World Cup groups have been revealed, and Cardiff are still fucking shit.
And you've confirmed that Pep Guardiola will be sacked. So next week, we've got to at least come with 3 candidates to replace him.
Yep, and honestly, Steve Cooper's in the line for the job, mate. Manager who's got teeth like a fucking St. Mirren scarf. Mayhem, it's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations again on yesterday's heroics. Good to see you beaming, and good to see Celtic with their nose up in trophies.
Beautiful, mate.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, we're available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Audible. If you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring that bell for notifications. And until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and Nostar.